Hey everybody, welcome back to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and for another episode of Questions and Coffee with David. This is where I get up bright and early in the morning, and before I start my day, I'm reading all the emails that have come in over the last few days, and you guys are sending in tons of questions, which is fantastic, and I try to answer them for you in video format. So if you want one of your questions featured in an upcoming episode, please send your questions to info@HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. That's info@HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, and I'll be sure to get your question featured in one of these upcoming Questions and Coffee videos. So before we get to this week's set of questions, if you would do me a favor, if you like what you see in this video, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously. Also go out to facebook.com/HomeRecordingMadeEasy and follow me there. And for more tips, tricks, concepts, and training around all aspects of home recording, mixing, and mastering, go out to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. Take a look at the Quick Mix series as well as the Made Easy series, as they will absolutely help you make better mixes and masters and recordings in your home studio, I promise. So now let's get ready and let's take a look at question number 1. Okay, our first question comes in on YouTube, and he didn't leave his name, so I'm sorry I don't know your first name, but the question came in on YouTube and they ask, "Hello David, I have original music on 4-track tapes from the 90s, and I'd like to get them into Studio One before the tapes degrade. My current setup includes a Yamaha MT100 4-track recorder and an M-Audio Fast Track Ultra interface. Do you have any training courses available for purchase that cover how to do this the best? It's probably really basic, but I'm not sure what some of the basic settings like dB levels, etc. should be, and I may only get a couple of chances per tape to get the levels right from the 4-track into the fast track and then finally into Studio One. By the way, great YouTube training. Already watched all 16 beginner videos." Well, thanks so much for writing in. And yeah, the beginner's guide to Studio One is excellent. If you don't know about that, search my YouTube channel on the playlist called Studio One Beginner's Guide. I think there's 13 or 14 videos if you're new to Studio One to get you up and running very quickly. The answer to your question is no, I don't have a specific product on how to do that, but it sounds like it's kind of simple. Basically, you have an old cassette 4-track recorder. On the back of that, the Yamaha, it should have a set of outputs, stereo outputs. It should have a set of outputs that would go to speakers. You can take those outputs and go directly to the inputs of your M-Audio interface, and that should be fine, and that'll get you into Studio One. Now, as far as the dB levels go, what I would suggest you do is you want to set the output levels of your 4-track to get you to the point where you're probably around a -10 dB going into Studio One. That'll give you plenty of headroom to add EQ, compression, and other processing once you're in Studio One. So it should be quite simple. Just use the outputs off your 4-track to the inputs of your M-Audio interface, and you should be fine. So I hope that answers your question. If you have any other questions, be sure to write in, and next time leave your name so I can address you properly. But I hope that answers your question, and now let's head on over to question number 2. Okay, question number 2 comes in from Nelson. He has a Studio One question, and his question is, "Hi David, thanks for your Studio One tutorials. Very loaded with information. About the new Studio One 3.35. After upgrading, can I still use my songs recorded on the previous Studio One version? Thanks, Nelson." Thanks, Nelson, for writing in. So the answer to your question is, yes, you can open up your old songs into version 3.35 in Studio One, but however, once you go to save that session, it's going to say to you, you're going to get a dialog box. It's going to say, that you opened it and you recorded this in an older session. If you save it in the new version, you're not going to be able to open that back up again in the older version. Make sense? So you can open them up into version 3.5, but once you save it, you can't go backwards. So if you have any reason that you think you may want to use the older version on some of your sessions, what I would suggest you do before you save it in version 3.5, open up that session, go to File, Save as New into New Folder, and make a duplicate copy into a new folder, and then use that copy to open up in 3.5. So then at least you have one of each version, because once you go to 3.5, you can't go backwards. I'm not sure why that is, but that is absolutely the case, so just be aware of that, and you should be fine. Okay, thanks for writing in, Nelson. Now let's get on to question number 3. Okay, last question for this video. Question number 3 comes in from, I'm going to say his name wrong, and I apologize, Reishard? And he writes in, "Hi Dave, first I'd like to thank you for the content and helping me get up to speed with Studio One 3. I was a Pro Tools user since late 2009. Anyhow, I've been seeing a pretty even divide between printing mixes and exporting, bouncing them. Some say you lose quality when exporting, others say bouncing would sound the same as printed. I just want to get your insight on this. I'll probably be doing my own test to compare also. Thanks ahead of time for your help. Well, thanks so much for writing in. I appreciate it. I've done this test when I first started using Studio One, and I export my mixes. I've compared them to bouncing them in real time in the edit screen like you would in Pro Tools before Pro Tools had the export bounce feature, and I don't hear a sound quality difference. You know, I've heard the same argument. Some say that if you print it in real time, the quality's better. I don't know. Me personally, I can't hear the difference. I'm sure there's some audio geek out there that's done that test and put things on a meter or something and somehow could come up with some slight difference, but I don't know. I don't hear any difference whatsoever. It's a hell of a lot faster to just export them than bounce them in real time. So much so that Pro Tools finally in Pro Tools 10 had that feature, because you couldn't do that for the longest time, and they finally added that feature. I think it was Pro Tools 10. So I would just say keep exporting them. But if you hear a difference and you come up with a test that shows an actual difference audibly, I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to see that difference, because I don't believe there is. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks for writing in. And that's it for this episode of Questions and Coffee with David. Thank you so much for your time. And again, send your questions into info@homerecordingmadeeasy.com. I'll be sure to feature them in an upcoming episode. And as always, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com for all your home recording training needs. And until the next video, I've been David Vignola with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.